Admiral's Log, February 27th, 1923. Tensions with France are at a tipping point. We've seen it coming, and I've been planning for this. Now it's time to put those plans into action. It's a daunting task, but we're ready. My strategy is to fight a defensive war in the Mediterranean, tying up the French fleet there, while we make bold moves in the Asian theater, targeting French colonies. The Mediterranean is key. We need to keep the French Navy busy, hold them in place, without getting dragged into a full-blown conflict. It's a delicate balance, showing enough force to engage them, but not so much that it escalates beyond our control. Our fleet there is prepped for a war of attrition, a drawn-out fight that will drain the French resources and attention. Meanwhile, the real punch will be delivered in Asia. We've been quietly building up our forces, and now it's time to strike. The French colonies are vulnerable, and we have the element of surprise on our side. This is where we can hit them hard and fast, seizing control and giving us a strong bargaining chip. It's a bold plan, not without its risks, but we've played it safe for too long. Now's the time for decisive action, to take the initiative and put the French on the back foot. Our ships are still mothballed for now, but they can be reactivated surprisingly quickly. We've been preparing for a moment like this, and now it's upon us.
Hey guys, Stealth here, and welcome to episode 23. We are about to go to war with one of the nations, if not the single nation, that has the most battleships on the planet. What could possibly go wrong? France has sent us an ultimatum demanding we withdraw our fleet. You mean all our ships that are mothballed? That is operating near their borders, claiming that it threatens their trade lines with neighboring countries. No, France, we haven't done anything yet, but we're about to. The government requires your advice on how to reply. This is an absolute disgrace. We will never accept this. And we don't go to war? We're minus 99. Really? Okay, fine. I'm going to go to war with France. Here's why. The French have, well, a very sizable portion of Africa. And generally, I don't care for these colonies, but I had a look through it. Over here, for example, Madagascar. 3.1 billion in income. Okay. I don't think you can... Yeah, maybe you can invade Congo. 1.6 billion, 2.6 billion, 2.3 billion, 2.5 billion, 3.7 billion, 2.1 billion, 3.7... Need I go on? There's a lot of money to be had. The only thing it needs, by the looks of it, is a few soldiers, because these army forces here are just 2,100 guys. We're going to have to, of course, first reactivate the whole navy. That's going to take a little bit of time, and look at all these mothballed ships. We're going to have to activate not all of them, thankfully. My plan here is to activate the ships that are going to be doing operations here. Now, looking at my politics screen, I'm not really seeing any imminent disaster with Japan, nor China, because China is my ally. So, yeah, I have some options to send the fleet from here. The Sea of Japan fleet, which means that the ships over here, as well as in Korsakov, are going to be potentially useful allies, or well, useful warriors in this fight. Now we have, let's go in descending order of importance. You are in Korsakov in the Sea of Japan. The Sviatoy Yakov. The OG Yakov. We're going to reactivate that ship. The Europa is in Riga. I don't need her. You're in the Adriatic. I might need some ships in the Adriatic because those are going to be in control of the Mediterranean. So we're going to activate these. It's going to take 3 months. Really? It's the same ship. Oh, the Petrov slightly bigger. Okay. Western Mediterranean, Majorca, the Perm. Yes, please. Kronstadt, Sea of Korsakov. Activate. We have the Stavropol. New ship. Never used it before. It's one of those newer ships of the Chesma class with 2 double-barrel 13.9s and 8 9-inchers. We have Chesma Actual in Black Sea. I might need to activate one, but I already got Kursk over in Black Sea. We got Kuban in the Baltic. I don't need her. We got a lot in the Baltics. I guess I was preparing for war with Germany a bit too much. Which is, in hindsight, not really that needed because they're at mine 55. Okay, what else do we have? Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to activate them. I need these ships for their tonnage. It's as simple as that. Now, this is going to cost me a lot of money to reactivate all of these ships and then field them later. Unfortunately, Sinop and the Rosdesto Cristovo are not yet ready. They'll have to join the war later. That 46,000 tons is going to come in very, very useful if you want to invade a place. We're still building a ship for Greek. We got the Commandant Cat in the Sea of Japan. Yes, I want to activate her. She is one of the OG warriors. The Yakov of the Yakov class heavy cruisers is ready. We got one in the Black Sea, one in Northeast Asia. The Baltic fleet is not yet going to be fully activated. I don't feel like I need all of them. These are Kronstadt class cruisers with 6. Sorry, no, they are in Kronstadt. Never mind. What else do we have? We got Western Mediterranean, a couple of DDs. I am building new DDs, but it's going to take me a while. The reason that I threw together a new DD is to deal with French submarines. The last thing I want is to send my very expensive battle cruisers and battleships into a submarine. Well, I mean, not technically into a submarine, but the submarine will be lurking, and when it eventually strikes, it's going to be all sorts of nasty. As for light cruisers, I'm kind of skipped using those for now because I find that they don't really fulfill a role in the Navy as I have it. So at the moment, I'm not going to use that. The Alexander Nevsky is a ship we're still building. I'm going to activate that from, let's say, Vladivostok. From there, she can join the rest of the, let's say, Pacific Asian theater and engage the French. Because the French also have a presence here. Guangzhou 1, 3.2 billion. Tonkin, 2.3 billion. Annam, look at that, 4.5 billion. This is going to potentially salvage the economy very, very quickly. Right now, though, I'm driving it into the ground at an extremely alarming rate. I'm going to have to cut research dramatically, at least for now, up until the point where the war begins, because then my budget gets activated. And then all the budgets, or all the money, can be sent towards fighting the French. The French are, like I said, in possession of quite a few battleships. They have 28. They have 2 battlecruisers, 12 heavy, 18 lights, 18 DDs, and 8 submarines. Their power is 100%. Their army logistics, surprisingly, also 100%. But considering their enormous GDP of 546 billion, that is, yeah, about 7 times mine. Yeah, that's a lot of ships. That's a lot of ships. We're going to try and shrink this little economy of theirs down, rather than shrink it up. We're going to shrink it and attack them on their colonies. That's the plan. It's not going to be easy, but if it works, it could pay off enormously and immediately give the Soviet Union a lot more money. Of course, increasing tensions with the French worked. So now, boom, we're at war with the French. This is going to spill over. It shouldn't immediately cause issues with other nations. So I'm perfectly happy with that, because it means that I immediately am not threatened in any of the other theaters by any of the other major powers. Germany actually kind of liked me taking the war to the French, possibly because they've been at war with the French. No, they're about to go to war with the French. Ah. So if I can tick the Germans over into a war with the French, that'd be great. The Germans are already fighting the Brits as well. The Brits have 13 BBs and the Germans have 6. It's like everybody has battleships but me. My naval tonnage right now is 81k, but that's going to blossom very, very, very quickly. And I can pour the budget right back into research. It's still not going to be a very positive experience, but, well, I don't mind losing a bit of money. I mean, I'm always losing a bit of money. I always want to keep my transport capacity up because this is the lifeblood of the economy. And for now, we're just going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait until all of these ships get commissioned. And even though I don't strictly need the Baltic Sea fleet, I might have to commission them anyway. Simply because with all of these ships, I'll be able to increase the amount of ships that I have ready. And with that, my tonnage immediately launches up, as will my logistics. It's currently 13%. Let's see what it's going to be next month. 1 month later, not only is France now fighting me, but they're also fighting Austria-Hungary. And the Germans. And Italy. It's like everybody is suddenly pooling their resources and going, huh, would be a shame if something happened to the French. No, you're not going to get my ships. I might need those later. Now, I had a very poor tonnage. I now have 64... No, that's the Spanish. I now have 214,000 tons. So, boom. All of a sudden, my armor logistics jumps to 23%. And that's not even my entire fleet. Because some ships, the battleships and some of the battle cruisers are still getting commissioned. So some of these ships are going to be ready in a bit. And especially the bigger ones. The 28, 31,000 tons. 31? How did you get overweight by 13%? That's a pretty poor quality engineering. But then again, we're playing as the Russians, so I suppose it's all within the margins. Can we start moving ships around? I might have to. We got the Adriatic and Ionian Sea. Oh yes, I didn't even mention that. We got this little place over here, Montenegro, with the port of Bar. And over there we have the Apostle Pyotr and the Petrov Parked. So I now have an actual port very, very close to Austria-Hungary, should they eventually fall out of favor with me. But right now, we kind of like them. So I don't have to make the whole Adriatic and Ionian Sea one big minefield. What I would like to do eventually, of course, is invade southern Spain or western Spain or, I don't know, northern France. But that might be a little ambitious for the tonnage that I have available. So, first things first, time to form up the fleet once they're ready. Until then, let's see exactly where the French are going to happen, or where they're going to happen. Where they're going to go. I'm seeing a lot of battleships all of a sudden racing back to the Western Mediterranean. That's 5 battleships. Now, the fact that they have 5 battleships doesn't necessarily scare me. Because I don't know the quality of their battleships. I don't know if they're still using Dreadnoughts. I mean, I'm using Dreadnoughts. Supposedly they're advanced, but I'll believe it when I see it. Just as I'm speaking of invasions, it seems that the Germans have decided to take a little stroll from southern Germany into northern France. That is extremely ambitious. I want to see exactly how this is going to go. Wow. Really? They got a force of 1.3 million men versus 200,000. This is potentially going to shake up the French Empire a lot. Their armor logistics is 100, so much the French. I can't believe they would just walk into northern France. With a population of 21 million, they're going to draft a lot of people. Now, we do have a little battle going on here. The Apostel Pyotr, the Europa from 1913, against the Democratie. First time we're going to actually look at this ship. It is a Suffren class battleship, 2nd gen, 1921. And judging by the price tag, 227 million versus 282. This thing is going to be pretty advanced. Considering the fact that its top speed isn't it, i.e. the top speed is good, but it's not spectacular, so that doesn't justify the price tag. The guns are 8 14.5-inch guns, a couple of 8-inchers, some 7-inch, and a couple of 1.8s and underwater torpedo launchers. Whoops. This is going to be an interesting fight. Now, I'm going to treat this little enterprise as a, let's say, an intelligence gathering operation. I don't expect to fight this ship. I really do not want to fight this ship because I'm operating with cadets. If a ship gets recommissioned, it's going to take up a couple of months, and that is with high crew training, to actually get it to perform well. Okay, so here's the French battleship. So you're the scary one. Alright. I bet that thing can pen. Yeah. There's basically not a few places where it can pen, there's a few places where it can't pen. That is not fun. My accuracy with cadets is actually pretty good at 4.7%. Let's slow down to 14 knots. See if the Piotr can do some damage. I kind of doubt it. But I just want to see if I can get that accuracy up some. Ooh, there's a first pen. And we lost sight. Okay. So they're using fairly, well, relatively small battleships when it comes to displacement. They just stuffed them with a couple of fairly big guns, those 14.5s. And probably decent crew, because the French had been at war for a longer period of time. And as such, probably have pretty good crews. So I'm going to take this as mission complete. I now know what I'm fighting. The problem is now, can I disengage without losing what's essentially a revised Petrov? Sorry, a revised Europa. I think the answer is going to be no. Their tech is supposedly advanced. Mine is very far behind. So... Oh, actually, I was doing low speed. Maybe I can make it out of here. Let's try. Mission accomplished. I gained intel on the French battleship. I now know what they have. I now know that they probably have pretty advanced tech. And somehow they're paying only marginally more per month in maintenance. That's interesting. Now, it also highlights the fact that my crews are green. The first couple of months of the war, as far as I'm concerned, are going to be a fairly cold one. Because at the moment, I do have ships. I do have commissioned ships to some extent. But the crews, well, they barely know how to use their ship. So at the moment, I feel like it might be better to just start combining ships. Make sure that fleets get formed up. And start shifting around the tech budget and blossom up the crew training. So that I should be able to get the crew training up very, very, very quickly. It only trains them to veteran, I think. Yeah, up to trained. If you want to go higher to veteran, you're going to have to get combat experience. If you have no funds, or in my case, if you have just commissioned your ship again, it's going to take you a couple of months to get the crew back up to training. I mean, basically everybody's cadet. I don't know if everybody from the, let's say, the existing Navy went into mothballs as well. They left the Navy, I guess. At any rate, I don't have any experienced sailors. Nevertheless, we're going to start building a bunch of ships over here. Start combining the fleet. So we're going to move some ships over here. Oh, never mind, they're still commissioning. Alright, I'll give it another month. Now, I might be interested in waiting for the enemy to not engage me yet. The enemy has entirely different plans. We got the battleship Démocratie from the French. That's one of those Souffrants. The Almirante is potentially worse. It's a battle cruiser, and this battle cruiser is armed with 18 15-inchers. The crew has been trained. The crew of someone unfortunately named Kursk has not. There are all cadets. I also have some assistance from, the Greek. Not necessarily bad for the Greek to have ships here, but these are the Novik class light cruisers. I used these once or twice, and I ended up not liking them because they only got the 7-inch guns. They're supposed to be longer range engagement ships, but they're pretty poor at doing that job too. I would like to withdraw. I can't. Yeah, we're going to have to fight these guys. The plan. The Apostle Piotr and the Kursk are going to engage smaller ships. We're going to strip these guys of their escorts. Once those are dead, we might be able to make a run with the DDs against their bigger ships. So my bigger ships are going to be firing at their smaller ships, while their bigger ships are going to be firing at my bigger ships. So, smoke screens might be an answer here. Just smoke up the place and elude the French. At least these guys will get the crew training, or their their combat training. That's for sure. Here we go. Guns hot. I'm going to slow down to, yeah, I don't want to quite do 14 knots, but, you know, something a bit slower. And this is your battleship. which is turning away. Interesting. Note how towards the stern, those casemates, so that's their 8-inchers, they don't serve any purpose. If you can get behind this thing, you only get to face 4 barrels. The rest is basically useless. Their BC, this is the one with 15 inchers. Interesting design. Again, they miss a lot of stern firepower. It's just the 15 inchers. Now, 15 inchers are nothing to scoff at, but with the 15 inchers, you only fire once every 60 seconds, probably, in this era, which means that these guys are not going to be very good at dealing with a horde of DDs. Unless they get 1 shot, 1 kill, but I want to see them do that. I mean, I'd rather not, but it is possible. For now, it seems that the French are still figuring out how they want to play this. Yeah, I don't think we're going to really hit a whole lot through a smokescreen, but if my ships keep firing, then I am all for that. Because with that, I might hit a light cruiser or a DD that happens to be sneaking around here. Alright, here's the Pyotr. Firing another burst. And here's Kursk. This is one of those, let's say, all-rounder warships. They have the capability of dealing with bigger threats with their 13.9s, and with dealing with smaller things with their 9-inchers. If the 9-inchers cannot be used in, let's say, a more destructive role, I am hopeful that they will be used in a role where they set high explosive. I'm not sure if the game is going to do that, though. It's kind of the problem. Accuracy is pretty terrible right now, because everybody's on the side of a smokescreen. They're just roaming around. I'm trying to hit their bigger ships. Yeah, I'm trying to hit their bigger ships because I basically don't have anything else to fire at. Oh, they're targeting the DDs. Yes, waste your firepower. By all means, waste your firepower. By all means, dude. Ooh, 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 ooh. Something died. Unexpected side effect. Not unwanted. This, I suspect, is part of their scouting force. A light cruiser. We're going to take this thing down. It is, however, inside of a smokescreen. That's a little inconvenient. It's also trying to fight my destroyers, which is also a little inconvenient. So I'll just have to make that work. I think we're going to have to go for volume of fire up until the point where this thing comes out of a smokescreen. At which point we will blow it to very small French bits. Come on. We only gotta get lucky like once or twice. There you go. There we go. There's the smokescreen ending. Immense amount of flooding. They do have torps. I think they're going to use those against the DDs. Avathus? No, she hasn't launched. It's 26 million. It's a cheap light cruiser. Even an old light cruiser too, by any chance? No, somewhat. Just one of their older ships, I suspect. There she goes. Okay, so that's 2 ships that we've destroyed. And one battle cruiser? Wow. You got hurt pretty bad. Interesting. Interesting. So we might have a chance here. I did not expect that. Really didn't. Alright, now with that light cruiser out of the way, we can turn the DDs back around. They can start cycling down their smokescreen in about a minute. Reload the smoke. Sorry, and get back in there. As you might hear, my voice isn't quite there yet. But I do want to get this content out. I do want to make content. 16 clicks. That's not going to be very accurate. Okay, let's have the DDs once again scout out. If these guys are getting divided, that's another option. But I suspect that even with engine damage and some flooding, This BC should be able to keep up with their battleship friend. Democracy apparently has about a 4% chance to hit my battleship. How rude. I mean, my chance is worse. Ah, there she is, the Almirante. Okay, tell me about the Almirante. Many bulkheads, standard quarters. Pitch and roll is not great, but acceptable. Armor quality, 100%. 120%. No superstructure armor. Main belt, little on the light end. Fore aft. Main deck and foredeck and aft deck are very heavily protected. Okay. So how did I hurt them? Through the foredeck and the main belt? What? Okay. At that range, you can pen that with a battlecruiser. Yeah, I guess we can. Because I have set this slider to 120%. So at this range, 18 kilometers, let's round that up to 20, I can pen 12 inches of armor. I can kill these guys. It's all going to come down to whether they hit me first. If they do not, and if Kursk is able to land a couple of shells, we might be able to sink this thing. Because 2 hits, doing 3,500 points of damage is very serious. And if we can sink a $260 million warship as basically one of the opening salvos of the war, I think that's great. Now, the DDs do have torps. Their torpedoes are short-ranged, 6.2. So first we're going to have to eliminate some of these escorts. Let's push in. I want to see where the escorts are. Although the Almirante is lagging behind a bit. What are you shooting at? My DDs. Even with your 15 inches, you're shooting the DDs. Oh boy. Smoke up. And use these things as lightning rods, attracting the fire, successfully so, of these big ships. And as such, hoping that they don't actually engage my capital ships. 9 kilometers out. I am not going to make a run at these guys. But they can't even see them, can they? They can't see anything, in fact. They lost sight of the Kursk and the Pyotr, because we're behind the smokescreen. Okay. Yeah, so smoke is definitely going to come in handy here. I'm going to have to really carefully time this. Oh, flooding hit. PDs, come back a bit. Almirante has fixed her flooding. Accuracy, 2%. Ow! Good lord. Could you not? That was a 14-inch that just blew the Kazanets in two. Yikes. That's a big yikes. We're gonna have to disengage a bit. Oh, we had something else. Could be a DD, could be a CL. Progress. Alright, range. 11.5. Slow down to about 14, 15. Let the DDs continue to attract the fire. And pummel that battlecruiser. 3% chance to hit. You're still range finding, I guess. 6%. With HE? No. AP. Ooh. What's that? Speedy boy. Good to see it. CA? You're a very old heavy cruiser. That's one of those tumble homes. Interesting. 7-inch guns? It's definitely a very, very old heavy cruiser. Kursk, about 10% chance to hit. I'll take those odds. I like that. Come on. I need a couple of holes in this ship. We got a pretty decent chance to pen as well. Not their deck, but their whole belt is fair game. What about your armor scheme, friend? Not that serious, is it? It's really not that serious. So, forebelt, aft belt, superstructure. These are all things that we can destroy. Or at least pen. We might be facing, technologically seen, a far superior foe. But so far, they don't have much to show for it, except for bludgeoning one DD to half dead, and the second actually dead. Oh crap, I still have the CLs. I completely forgot that they're just tracking. Destroy the torpedo aboard Democracy. Ooh, we're gonna hit something accidentally? Nope. These guys are all running around very, very carefully. No, rather carelessly, because they're all zipping between each other. What are you targeting? The destroyer. Oh, how you can kite the enemy with the destroyers. Alright. Now the plan was to target the smaller shit first. So let's put all the secondaries on this zippy little thing. Which appears to be a DD of some variety. Yeah. It's fairly torpedo heavy, this DD. There's the Cayman. So you're... What? You're $114 million worth of heavy cruiser? You're not even fast. Turbines for engines. Winston's 3 range finding. Okay. You. Stereo 3. You. Stereo 2. Huh. And that's with the refit. The torps are 6-3. That's important to note. Okay. The CLs should be engaging. Oh my god. They're engaging the DD with 0.1% chance to hit. Another hit on the Almirante. Seemingly more flooding. This French battle group might look scary from a distance, but really not that intimidating once you get to know them. Boom. That was a full pen from the battleship. Down to 35%. 2 engines out. Flooding in 2 compartments. Buoyancy dropping. That's with cadets, remember? Just imagine having a better crew on these ships. Secondaries going off against the Cayman. Whoopla. There we go. 31% structural. Buoyancy dropping. This battleship is running at 25 knots. My destroyers can run at 29. So I have options. Just need some of these escorts gone. I think the Almirante is done for, because their speed is gone. And with that, their survivability takes an even bigger hit. Because my ships are now getting deadly accurate. We're taking some return fire, but so far it hasn't really done a ton of damage yet. I think they lost sight of... Yeah, they lost sight of the Vladivostok. I need to make sure the DDs keep posing as threats. But it's mostly that. It's mostly posing, because I cannot get in there with that heavy cruiser and all of its guns. I mean, the 7-inch guns aren't that scary, but 22 3-inch guns is. Come on. Finish the Almirante. Take her out. Show the French that even with old technology, the Russians can still inflict a severe beating. Now they spotted the Vladivostok again. Okay, smoke yourself up. That does mean we'll lose line of sight and potentially some accuracy. We'll just have to accept that. It does mean that they... Oh, they lost sight of the Kursk as well. Huh. 6 kilometers out. We might be able to torp this guy now. Do you have sonar? Hydro? Hydro 2. Yeah, so you'll see the torps. Please don't kill me. 0.8% chance. Torpedo the battlecruiser. Lay waste to this thing. Torpedoes away from the Vladivostok. Good lord, you're old? Single torpedo launchers on the Hazard. It must be one of the old Greek destroyers. Okay. Torpedo suicided. Well, lovely. Nevertheless, the Vladivostok, Azar, and Zarki are doing good work because they do force the Almirante to change her course. And they're attracting the fire from the battleship, which seems to be desperately trying to aid her compatriot, really to no avail. Switch to a bit of HE. %38% chance to hit. Now we're getting somewhere. The problem is, she's fully putting her stern into the fight, making it very difficult to pen her. This is better. Switch to AP. Boom! Flooding. That could be it for her. 17%, 15, 12, 7. Done. First battlecruiser of the war eliminated. Fantastic job. And all it took was one badly damaged DD, Raibitz, and one dead DD. If that's the price I have to pay, I'll take it. I will take it. I'm gonna end... No, I'm not gonna end the battle. I was going to end the battle, but then the AI decided different. Let's disengage. We came here. We got a couple kills. We lost the DD. It's a fair deal. More than fair. And what I'm getting out of this is combat experience. Making the ships even more deadly next time around, and Democracy might be alone. So we'll see her again. We get another opportunity to take her out. Ahead flank. All ships disengage. Tactical battle. CLs. Maintain your follow. End the battle. There we go. 8,000 victory points. Losses, 1. Sunk, the Almirante, Arathus, and a destroyer that happened to be in the way. Nice. Not bad. Now keep in mind, I'm not the only one that they're fighting. If the enemy of my enemy, well, I mean the Germans, and the Austrians, and the Italians are all going to be getting results like these, then I think the French could be losing capital ships at an alarming rate. That could be very, very good for us. They're also getting damaged by mines. Look at that. The Lille, the Terrible, the Languedoc, the Héroïne, Normandy, and Charlemont. All taking damage from mines. Am I losing transports? Yes, in the Western Med. Yeah. The Western Med is something that I can't exactly put a whole lot of effort into yet. My power projection isn't nearly on par with the French. Not when there's 4 battleships passing through. And another 2. And another 6. I only have one. I only have 1 battlecruiser. So they're pretty much doing roadkill against my ships here. Against my transports, which I think is fair. It is fair. Oh. This is moving. What? The French have an army of 33,000? Didn't they have an army of 210,000 not too long ago? They didn't lose all of them. Are the French going to lose northern France to the Germans? Over here they're trying to walk into northwest Italy, which is ambitious. Might work? I don't know. This is going to be a very interesting war. I hope to take a lot of territory off the French and bolster my own economy. In the meanwhile, potentially get some tech, but tech right now is not a priority. What is a priority is getting ships back out. I need to save some displacement. But where? Here. I'm going to slow down production here to get the Synop out faster. The Synop's going to get launched. Where am I going to launch her? Georgia. Because that means she's going to spawn here. And from there, she can link up with the Western Mediterranean fleet. Potentially, I don't know, invading this. Or, oh, the French are here. Whatever. Maybe I could take Tunisia off of them. Northwest Algeria would be nice. Yeah, we got opportunities. That, however, comes in the next episodes. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this new war. It is a risky one, but if I can make it work, I might be able to get a whole lot of profit from it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon for more.